What up, what up, what up? Back at it again, Real Fans Podcast. We're here. It's just me, your boy Gabe. I'm hosting today. That's Julian over there somewhere. Julian, say what's up to the people.
What's up, people? What's up, people?
I'm sorry, I'm sounding a little bit somber, but you know, a little bit sad times in Miami. A little bit sad times, but you know what?
Oh,
we
not even sad. Rough times.
Rough times. But we'll get into that a little later. But now that the finals are ending up, the playoffs are finally ending. We can get into other sports finally. I know Julian's been eking to talk about anything football. He's over here. He's looking at all the previews. He's looking at all the depth charts, and he's trying to figure out who's going to be Aaron Rodgers' number one target. I know he's doing all the science.
We all know as soon as. I'll give y'all a grace period of like a couple weeks, and then we're gonna start diving into like predictions of like divisions and records.
Oh my god, I hate that shit. See, I'm the type of guy like, look, roll the ball out, let's play, and then
why, man? We gotta do those division winner betting lines, man. Gotta do those division.
It's hard for me to do predictions when like no games have been played. It's like I make a prediction today.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You're doing season predictions.
Oh man,
there's a lot of teams, man.
But speaking of the NFL, because now we're in doldrums of summer, heading into OTAs and into mini camps.
Right now, or I think mini camp's over. One of the two. Yeah, heading into OTAs, friend.
Let's talk about the NFL because we really didn't talk about it last week. There's been some movement in the NFL, and we'll start off with probably one of the biggest guys I remember. Do you remember seeing this guy in college? I know you watch a lot more college than me. I remember him coming out of FSU, big running back. I'm talking about Dalvin Cook, obviously.
I don't know where you get this idea that I watch so much more. I barely. I don't watch college.
I promise you watch more than I do. And if you don't watch anything, then you watch more than I do.
You know why? You know why you think that is because like I only I follow the draft pretty well. I actually like draft season, so I'll go and look up all the prospects leading up to the draft. But I don't really watch college though. I wait till the prospects round. I'm like, all right, let's see what's out there. Let's see what's out there. But I mean, I guess I watched the playoffs. So, oh wait, actually, is that about to start up? Is that the first year of this? The new playoff format?
Probably, possibly. I'll look it up what we're talking about. But let's talk about because we want to talk about Dalvin Cook, obviously. He got drafted by the Vikings, right? I forget what year, but he's been with them for a while, and he officially got waived. Or he got released from the Vikings, and he's probably one of the biggest acquisitions left yet. I mean, there's still free agents out there, but as far as big running backs, I think he would be nice on any kind of team. So CBS is reporting that he's looking for about $10 million. I think he's trying to whatever new team that he's willing to go to, that he's looking for $10 million. And a couple names that popped up. They still talk about the Broncos, the Dolphins, possibly if they want to acquire him. So let's talk about Dalvin Cook and him going forward. Like, will this be like a good pickup? Do you still think he has value at the running back position? Because running back position being pretty much devalued. Like they're not. It seems like a flash in the pan. Like they have like 3-4 years and then they kind of go away. So Julian, Dalvin Cook, do you want him on the Jacks?
No, we don't need him. But he was drafted in 2017 by the Vikings in round 2. Yeah. But I mean, he had a very strong 4 years. I mean, right here, he was Pro Bowler from 2019 to 2022. This past year was where you started to see him. Well, honestly, I don't think he was a Pro Bowler. And when it's saying 2022, is that like the year, not the season, but the year they did the Pro Bowl? Because there's no way he made the Pro Bowl just recently.
Yeah. That'll be the last year.
So the Pro Bowl that just passed was 2023 Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes more sense. Because I was like, he did not have a good season. And I know that because I had him on my fantasy team. I drafted him high. I thought he's only 27 years old. But he's had a long career. I mean, he played playing. He played at Florida State in 2014, and he was a lightning bolt in those years. So. I mean, you're now looking at about 8 years of wear and tear at this point because he had 3 seasons in college, which for a running back can be kind of tough. But it is kind of crazy to think, man. I mean, 27 years old and people are already like ready to move on and get another young guy. I mean, it's tough though because it hurts because every time you sign it, I mean, Derrick Henry's probably the one exception, but every time you give a running back a big deal after the rookie contract, it's almost non-existent. And he's a guy where I understand the Vikings now, where it's like, look, you don't really want to keep him because at the end of the day, you can always get another running back. It seems like, especially with the way the league's going in a more pass-heavy league, there's always the college system is just pumping out these guys left and right. You can always find a guy hidden in the. I mean, look at Jacksonville with the undrafted free. I mean, he was a second-round pick himself. You know what I mean? So you can always find these diamonds in the rough. And but I do think he would be a great second running back. It seems like he's just lost his legs, especially watching the Vikings. He's just not that same guy, it seems like, which is kind of crazy to see. But for all we know, maybe it's just a bad year. Maybe he had a nagging injury throughout the season. We never really know with these things unless it's major. I think as for the front runners, I see the Denver connection. I think it'd be good for him because it's a place where he doesn't need to be. He'd be more of like a running back committee versus if he goes to Miami, even though not Miami could really benefit from having him, he's going to be a workhorse over there. And I guess it just kind of depends how he wants to go about his future, where it's like he could probably get some more juice out if he goes by a place where he's going to be a running back committee and like be kind of like a mix and match of guys, or if you go to Miami and you're the guy. I don't know. You might know better than I. Did Miami make any moves in the draft for running backs? Really? Is they still rolling out Gaskin?
Yeah. Well, we still have Gaskin. Teeny tiny Gaskin, fast, but I know the Dolphins, as far as their 2-run committee, obviously, these are the 49ers guys, so it's Mostert and Wilson, Jeff Wilson Jr., obviously coming from San Francisco with Mike McDaniel.
I forgot about Mostert. That's actually, he would pair really well with Mostert because Mostert could be that ground and pound guy right up the gut, and then you could have, I mean, he actually, more I think about it, he might fit really well in Miami because the way Mike McDaniels coaches his offense, he could be a really good piece on the outside, a more receiving threat for the Dolphins that could be work out really well.
I think even, they mentioned other teams as well, Dallas, and I'm looking at the Denver roster. They have Javonte Williams listed as the number one, and Perrine. I think Perrine, he came from, he used to play with the Jets, didn't he?
I'm not. I like Javonte Williams. He came out of UNC. He's
know more college than I do. You say you don't watch college.
I liked him coming out of the draft. He was rated really well, and even this past season, I thought he played really well for them. He was a good piece for Denver. So yeah, he's definitely going to go to a place where they. I mean, that's kind of the trend now. It's kind of having a running back by committee. Like you want to have like multiple pieces. I completely forgot about Mozart. I don't see him with the Cowboys. I don't think. I don't know. Then again, Jerry Jones likes to go after old guys. Honestly, to me, yeah, Broncos or Miami are the biggest one, and to me, I think Miami is a front runner. Also, because he is a Miami native. He went to Miami Central. He's born in Opelika, so he is a Miami guy. He could go back home. And at the end of the day, Miami's not a hard selling point. I mean, if you're a running back looking for your second contract, you got to get as much money as you can. And going to a state with no state income tax could help you with that versus going to a place like Denver. So we could see. I mean, would you want him at Miami?
Absolutely. I mean, if we can get him, depending, because he's only asking for $10 million. I'm trying to look up the cap space, the amount of cap space that the Dolphins have, but I think he would absolutely be, a good fit. We have three running backs that are pretty good. I think of maybe Mozart starting over Wilson. I think Wilson more of a smaller kind of receiving running back, but I think he could easily, a three-headed monster.
Would he be RB1?
I would want him to have RB1, depending on his health. I don't know how, what the status of his health is, his legs is. But even if he's a RB2, like, you still have a committee. Like, you have other guys that can come in and.
But from what I understand with McDaniels, he doesn't really stick with one guy too. He likes to bounce him around depending on the situation, right?
Yeah. And those are his guys that he brought over. So To me, it'd be kind of hard unless he can just physically outwork the other two guys. But I bring up the Cowboys because remember, I think they did release Zeke. Zeke Elliott got released. If you look at the depth
but
chart
that
now,
dude's been non-existent for. He didn't do it. I mean, they got Troy Pollard and
Pollard's been. I like Pollard.
Yeah, he's good.
I like Pollard for a few years.
I don't know if they're going to want to pay him $10 million. That's kind of a steep asking price. I will say, even though he has the resume to back it up, like I said, it's just owners don't want to pay these guys. Yeah. I mean, the biggest example was the Christian McCaffrey thing. Ended up kind of working out for the Niners, but a lot of people were saying that I'm sure the Panthers really regretted paying him all that money. And you're coming out, you're Dalvin Cook, who's coming off a down year for the most part for his standards. It is kind of tough to put up that money. I think the Dolphins are in a position where I don't know what your cap situation is looking like, but it seems like you guys are not taking too much of a hit, especially with Tua being on a rookie contract. Because you got to remember too, Dak's taking up a lot of money over there in Dallas. So is Russell Wilson in Denver. To me, I could see the team that could realistically would want to pay them and wouldn't mind it would probably be a Miami because they have your guy Tua on a rookie deal.
Yeah, so right now we're mid-range. I'm looking at the spottrack.com. Dolphins have $13.5 million in cap space. But the top five teams.
Oh, there you go.
The top five teams that have money, $32 million is the Bears, the Panthers, Cowboys, Lions, and the Colts, with like $23 million up, and then Cardinals right behind that. So, but it depends. Like, it depends on what he wants, right? Because you can either marry the money if you get the asking price that he wants, or he can get some convenience, like you said, coming back home to a place familiar. Maybe that's more important to him. Which would be
people
interesting
also have the Jets and the Bills in there, which aren't bad teams for him to land either.
Quick winners if you want to win fast.
And look, if you're a running back, like you said, your window's so short to try to like actually win one. So I could see it potentially go one of those two routes. But to me, it seems like Miami is just the perfect fit with the type of system that they run there. I mean, he's just adding another speed element to that team that's already really fast.
Yeah.
So, and now you're adding more speed in the back. But the Bills could really use him. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. I've never liked Singletary. I've never liked him on the team. I think he had a few good years when he first got drafted, but
Buffalo did sign Damian Harris and Latavius Murray, so
former.
Seems like they don't have a huge need for it. I will say I think the Jets more so than the Bills because Breece Hall is coming off an ACL tear and maybe you can have that safety net behind him. But Breece Hall's still young. But yeah, I still stand by Miami. I think and like you said, you guys got the space for it. You can squeeze them in at least for. I don't know. I mean, what kind of deal would you be looking for? Like, would you just like put them on a 2-year deal, 1-year deal?
Oh yeah, probably just to see because like I said, Mike McDaniel already has his guys that he likes that he brought over like specifically. So, a flyer on Dalvin Cook if he wants to go, $8 million, 10. Either you can match him at $10 million or maybe get him a little lower, and.
I think if you get him at 2-year, he might take $8 million a year for 2 years.
But that's the thing
if he's doing a 1 year, he might do a 10. He might ask him for 10 for 1 year.
I think that's the thing too. Like I brought up Winger. You brought it up a little bit. Like what does he want to do? Right? Their career's not that long, so I'm sure he wants to secure money, right? To secure a future. Secure some generational wealth because he is released from the team that drafted him. So I'm sure he's looking for that kind of veteran medium contract. That post rookie contract. I'm sure that's what he's going to want to do, right? Depending, I don't know, how many more years he has in the league. I still think he's good. I still think he has value. So maybe there's a happy medium if the Dolphins want to get him. But like I said, there's other teams out there.
For me, I think he's coming off his rookie deal. Get the biggest payday you can get. Like if I was him, I wouldn't worry too much about trying to go to a contender. Go to a team that's going to give you the money that you want. And then once you're done with that contract, then maybe look into trying to find a team you can squeeze into. Because right now, this is Right now, this is the most that he's probably going to earn. This is probably going to be his biggest contract yet. So get what you can, And I mean, you always hear agents say that too. It's like once you're out of your rookie deal, get the most you can, no matter where it's at. And then after that, then you can reevaluate like once you get older. I mean, yeah, that's what I would do if I was Dalvin Cook. It don't matter where it is. Whatever's going to give me the most money, get the money while you can. Like you said, you're running back, short career. If you can get a 2-year deal somewhere, then after that, if you still feel like you got some left and teams still want you, then go to a contender, which are most likely going to be teams that are going to want you because you're going to be cheap.
So we'll see. Speaking about teams that want you, we can talk about the other guy who has been. I think we talked about it. We talked about a couple weeks ago. But DeAndre Hopkins obviously getting released from Arizona, which is hugely surprising to me.
Still wild.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because he got traded over from Houston, right?
Yeah, Houston. I mean, they gave him away essentially. I mean, they got David Johnson and I think another like pick. And David Johnson, not a bad running back, but he was always an average running back. And then to give up one of the best wide receivers in the league makes no sense. But I'm still shocked that the Cardinals didn't think they could have got something, man. Like I'm real. That's still a head scratcher to me of why they just let him walk like that. I mean, it seemed like you were okay with letting him go. He wanted to go. Why not just work out a deal so you can get at least something out of it? But maybe they feel like they did get something because at the end of the day, they didn't really give up much to get him. So I guess you're not feeling like you have to recoup any losses. So maybe that could be another reason. But what are the teams that are looking at him, man?
I mean, it's gonna be. I think we talked about it a little bit earlier. Like, if you can go to a team, depending, because I think he was asking for like 11 million. I know he's definitely trying to get the max.
Because he doesn't look like he definitely doesn't look like he's trying to go to a winner. He looks like he's just trying to get the most money he can.
Yeah, so I think we talked about adding him to the Bills. That would be a nice fit if he's trying to win immediately. I mean, now he's just trying to build legacy. They would have to make the money work. The Bills, maybe the Ravens. With the Ravens signing a big contract with Lamar Jackson, maybe you add a veteran like DeAndre Hopkins. I don't know how much sense that makes. But a team, you don't want to go on a trash team. You don't want to be like on the freaking.
Oh no, man! It's looking like he might go to a trash team. Yeah. It looks like the two big front runners right now is Patriots and Titans, which to me tells me that he's just trying to get that. He's 31, so I can kind of see it. Get that one last big payday. He's just young enough to where you could probably get that. Same like we were saying with Dalvin Cook. And it looks like that's what is happening. It says DeAndre Hopkins reportedly left Nashville with a financial offer.
Yeah. I think that was his first team he went to go visit. That was the first reported team he went to go visit. Was in Tennessee. So, of course, I mean, yeah, you get an offer. I don't think there's much like that is newsworthy, but I don't think it's like obviously the place you're going to visit. They're going to give you an offer before you. They're not even wanting to make you leave and look at any other offers. But if you're a smart man, if you're trying to maximize your value, obviously you're gonna listen to everybody while you're a free agent. So, what were the other teams that he was reported to go to? Was there an update on that? I know the Titans was the first team.
It's really the Titans and the Patriots, especially the Patriots. I mean, there's a lot of news of him going towards the Patriots. I think he's actually visiting the Patriots today. Or has already visited them today. So it seems like those are the two big front runners. I mean, man, I guess if you had to pick one, you'd want to go to the Patriots because, man, Tennessee's a dumpster fire. They basically drafted Tannehill 2.0 at quarterback. He is not looking too great. I think a lot of these quarterbacks this past draft were completely overhyped, and none of these guys are going to be good, I don't think. And, it's funny enough, they're all in the AFC South, so bring them on. You're talking about easy pickings for us. So you're going to be most likely throwing to a rookie quarterback. You're going to go to Mac Jones, where you have that familiarity with Bill O'Brien, who has now been named the offensive coordinator for the Patriots. So he's reuniting with them, which I think is kind of odd because it seems like he was the same guy that traded him away. So it is kind of weird. I don't know if maybe that relationship has been salvaged or what the relationship is even like with him being back with Bill O'Brien. and why he would want to go to the Patriots, because it seems like everything left on a bad term there. But I mean, if you had to pick a team, it seems like that's the better team to go to, because I don't know, man. Like unless the deal's too sweet in Nashville, like I said, Tennessee's another state with no state income tax, which is you're going to Massachusetts, which is one of the highest taxes in the country. So he could be making more money over there. So it seems like to me, he's just trying to maximize whatever he can, because let's be real. If he wanted to win, he could have easily went to the Chiefs, could have went to the Bills, could even maybe go to the Jets. One of those powerhouse teams. But I mean, I think he's going to the Patriots. What do you think? Like,
well, I'm reading a report from Diane Rossetti tweeted out yesterday that there's no animosity at all between Bill O'Brien and Hopkins. So it seems that maybe most likely, if I had to pick, if you're telling me two teams, either Tennessee or the Patriots, I'd probably pick the Patriots. A better fit. But yeah. Like I said, it's the balance act of like, what do these players want? Do you want to maximize your value, get as much generational wealth, secure as much money as you can for your family, for your future? Or do you care about your legacy? Like, what legacy are you leaving on? Go
ahead.
No. I'm going to look up his career earnings. Well,
I was going to say, like, I don't even understand why Tennessee would want to pay him so much. You would think, I feel like Tennessee has a hard time accepting that they just need to rebuild and tear it down, because you're bringing in a rookie quarterback who's most likely going to start, who, like I said, looks like a Tannehill 2.0. You have a defense that is average at best. You essentially have no receivers on that team. How long does Derrick Henry really have? I think he's pretty much done. Like, I really don't think Derrick Henry's going to have a good season this year. I mean, I get that this man's a walking tank, but like, how much pounding can he really take anymore? Look, man, that ship has sailed. It's just like, I think you got to get reset. So it's like giving however much he's asking, which I don't even know if it says anywhere how much he's potentially asking for, what his worth is. I would imagine he's looking for maybe $15 million a year, my guess.
Yeah, so I'm looking at his last year's, the most he made, he re-signed, well, in 2017, he re-signed with Houston and got $24 million a year. Then he earned 12.5. So, and then in Arizona, he restructured his contract and got 13.7 and 13.9. So it's going to be around that price. So you said 15. Probably is going to be around that high. He's going to be looking for. Like, he's not going to go any less than that, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't understand the thought process for Nashville to even want to sign him. I can understand the New England aspect, because New England is a team that's trying to win. They're trying to build around. You have your guy, Mac Jones. He's entering his third season.
Yeah.
Third season. No, my bad. Fourth season. It is his fourth season. Oh my God. Why am I drawing a blank? He came in the same year as Trevor. So third season. Entering his third season. You have Bill O'Brien, which is somebody who has familiarity with, who knows how to use Hopkins. You're in the AFC East, where it's super, super competitive right now between the Jets, Bills, Dolphins, and the Patriots. So you need that extra piece to kind of to combat that offensive firepower that's all over the AFC East. I mean, every single one of those teams are going to put 30 on you easily. So New England, they have to get that firepower. And to be fair to Mac Jones, even though I don't think he's a great player, I think he is mediocre at best. I think he hasn't really had a guy, like a true number one receiver, and this could be the first time he actually has it. So to me, like, New England just makes the most sense for a fit wise. And if I was a Tennessee fan, I wouldn't want him. I just feel like it's just a waste to me. Like,
yeah.
I rather go into the season knowing this season's going to be a wash, save cap space as much as you can for next year, and not lock into a guy unless you're just willing to give him a 1 year flyer. But what's the point at that sense, unless you're a competitor, a real competitor? Which there could be one team that just literally comes out of nowhere, like the Bills or like the Chiefs, that just like, or the Ravens, that's like, boom, here's an offer. So
yeah. So I'm looking at the cap space. Titans have $8.3 million in cap space, and the Patriots.
So you're gonna make space for him. which is
yeah, you're gonna have to make moves, and then the Patriots have 13.3, so Patriots have a little bit more cap space to if they want to acquire him, but obviously, I mean, it's gonna be for one player. But I don't know, maybe very competitive in the AFC East, but we'll get our predictions later because I know you want to do you love predictions, you want to do season predictions.
I love betting.
Let's talk about your favorite team. Let's talk about Jacksonville Jaguars because everything's looking up bright. We're getting a new stadium in Jacksonville. I know there was pictures floating around. I didn't see a lot of it last time. I know there was a video and stuff they put out. I did see some of the pictures. So, how do you feel about new stadium in Jacksonville? Uh-oh. Muted. You're muted. Did you mute yourself?
Yeah, I muted my phone. I was gonna say, I don't know if you want to pull it up or if you want me to pull it up, but on like Twitter. But yeah, I mean, basically, so it's not set in stone right now. This is pretty much just an announcement. They're doing kind of the rounds around the city, doing meetings, talking about it, informing people. Obviously, this is not just going to be a stadium deal. This is a stadium plus redeveloping one of the big parking lots to actually be like a district, creating buildings along the river, trying to connect the stadium to downtown, filling out that emptiness that is just kind of like parking lots and concrete and like street. So they're trying to like an empty lot. So they're trying to, I mean, that's kind of the new wave of stadium and arena building. It's no longer just building an arena or building a stadium. It's about what can you put around it to then increase the wealth to the owners and to the team. Plus, I mean, I'm a person where I'm like, look, I'm a Jacksonville born and raised, live there. I don't give a fuck how much it costs. Get it done. This is a city who has invested literally nothing over the past, since I've been alive. That skyline, that downtown, that sports district hasn't changed a bit. And now I'm living in Miami where I feel like everywhere I turn, there's development and there's something new that's happening and popping up. And it's like, if Jacksonville wants to be a real player, and this is a little bit outside of sports, but it's like if this city wants to be a real player and take advantage of all the people from up north that's moving to Florida, you have to do something big. You have to reinvest into the city. Shad Khan's willing to upfront over $1 billion into the project. The stadium alone, I think, is the stadium renovations, I believe, is $1.3 billion. So he would have pretty much pay for the stadium, and then he's asking for the city for the rest to build the rest of the district and stuff. Which also, too, for people who don't know, the city owns the stadium. The Jaguars lease the stadium, and the lease is up in 2029, 2027, something like that. So they're looking to get all this stuff done to then renew the lease for the stadium. So for all the people that are like billionaires need to pay for their own stadiums, I agree if they're going to own it. But since the city owns the stadium and your lease is up, like the Jaguar Stadium is very dated. And we've talked about this with the Redskins. It's a really old stadium. The stadium was built in 95. My dad helped build that stadium. It's an older stadium. It was the former Gator Bowl. They kind of retrofitted it to make it into an NFL stadium. Or I think they demolished it and rebuilt it. Either way, the stadium's in dire need of a renovation. It gets hot as fuck. There's no shade at all. It is so damn hot going to a 1 o'clock game in the middle of September. It is brutal. So it's providing much needed shade. And Gabe, I don't know if you have the photos.
Yeah, I pulled them up. To me, I don't know. You have the
yeah. You can share screen.
You want to share screen on that one? So to me,
you can do it. Yeah.
Click some buttons. Hold on. To me, the stadium kind of looks like it reminds me of SoFi kind of a little bit.
Yeah, very SoFi-esque.
Share. All right, let me share. Let me pull up the thing. Where is it? Right. Where is it? Where did I put it?
No, you don't got the Twitter.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't have the Twitter. I had the what are they called? Like Jag Future Stadium of the Future.com?
Yeah, something like that. I'll pull it up. I got it. But yeah, I mean, so the thing with the stadium's supposed to be fully open air. Yeah, it's kind of using it's very reminiscent of SoFi with the open air aspect. A dome, but not really a dome because you kind of see through and still look out to the city and see things, but then be kind of protected from the elements. But you're still having that fresh air, that outdoor like air, and you can still get those views of the city. They're also going to be like rising the ground almost like I guess building like this massive hill to like kind of like I guess to like roll up so people could just kind of gradually go up the hill. The biggest update is the concourse. And for those who don't know what a concourse is, basically that walking path underneath the seats. They're going to be upgrading that like 4 times wider, which is much needed. You've never been to the stadium, Gabe, but when I went with JoJo, it's super tight. The concourses are super tight. So it's going to be much needed space right there. But yeah, I mean, what do you think of it while I try to find out these other photos for you?
I think it looks pretty cool. Like I said, it reminds me of the SoFi. So obviously there is kind of like a rounded shape with some covering. So I didn't see a lot on the inside. I also noticed that they're gonna have like two practice fields. They're trying to put like I guess situate.
So they're already building and it's actually almost done.
Okay. So this has been in the works for a while. This is
here we go. Completely. I'll pull up my video.
All right, let me turn mine off then. All right. So I mean that's pretty cool. That reminds me of the Dolphins Stadium, how they did. They pretty much made a whole track. They actually, they moved the Dolphins when they used to be at Nova, used to be at a college, and brought it over. So I see the 2 fields on the side. It looks.
This is almost done. So this is almost done. You can actually look at it, and it's almost there.
For our YouTube listeners, youtube.com, please. If you listen to the podcast, I know it's an audio podcast, but we also are on YouTube as well. So. It looks pretty cool, and I definitely think as far as Jacksonville is not really besides college sports that they come through with the Gator Bowl and stuff, and they do these off-site games.
Florida, Georgia,
you're gonna need a professional looking stadium, right? Some that the city like a city landmark, I guess, to kind of represent the city. So the inside looks pretty cool. It looks pretty modern. We'll see how it goes, but I'm trying to interested in what you think, because to me, I always thought that Shad Khan was trying to send his team away to London. I always thought that the NFL is always talking about this expanse to London, expanse to Europe, and like him investing in the stadium. I mean, do you feel like this solidifies like Jacksonville's not going anywhere, that this team is going to stay in Jacksonville, the Jaguars?
I mean, I felt that way already. I mean, there's already way too much infrastructure that's being put in place. Right now, if you could kind of, I can go back to it real quick. So like right now on the left side along the river, see that there's like 2 buildings there. Those are actually already under construction. He's manning that. And also like all the stadium renovations he's put into it already. I mean, the new scoreboards, redoing the club section, now the new training facility. And now we're starting to understand why they are building that training facility is to potentially so they can, because right now the players kind of like live in the doldrums of the stadium, where like they have to walk out from the stadium where the locker rooms are to the training grounds, which is just pretty much open fields and metal bleachers, to where now it's going to be this massive, like not massive, but it's going to be like this brand new complex where the offices for the player, the locker rooms, the therapy, all that stuff, all the coaches' offices, the general manager, all that stuff is now going to be off-site out of the stadium. And now we're kind of seeing why they started doing that. One, they definitely needed it. It was a much updated thing. It was a much needed update because, a lot of players would come here and they'd be like, they look at like all these other stadiums where they have like these amazing facilities. And you look at us where they're basically using the same locker room as game day. You know what I mean? So now they're going to get their own facility outside of the stadium. So now the city and Shad Khan can now work on this. But I've never felt worried about going to London. There's already too much investment that he was trying to put into this. There's too many things that proved that he was going to do it. And to me, this shows that even more so that he wants to do it. Now, I think the ball is in the city's court, to where the city, like I said, Jacksonville as a city, they never invest into anything. They've been talking about renovating that downtown since I was like 5 years old. My whole life, they've always talked about revitalizing the downtown. Never did it. Shad Khan buys the team, and he's talking about, I want to redevelop these lots along the river. This is prime real estate right here in the river. He wants to try to move the the jail. There's like a jail in downtown. They want to try to move that off into like countryside, which makes sense. I mean, if you want to redo it, people don't want to live next to a jail. So that's why I'm in the ballpark where it's like, look, you got to do like the city has to invest. I don't care how much it costs. Like, this is more than just a stadium. This is about hosting more events. I mean, it was embarrassing when we hosted the Super Bowl. They had to bring a cruise ship down the river just to have hotels.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For people to stay. And it's like the city, if they want to host these big events and and take advantage of the situation that's happening up north with all this migration to Florida, you got to do something big. You got to provide a place where people want to go, create a district. So it's like, do something, man. Like, I mean, what are these people's tax money even going towards anyways at the end of the day? So yeah, I'm all on board with it. I think it's awesome. I think it's one step to making this team serious. And I will say this, it sure as hell helps when you're winning, because trying to propose this when we were shitty, I don't know if it goes through. And that's what happened with the last talks Shad Khan tried to do when he tried to redevelop one of the parking lots into like a district. They shut it down. And I think Shad Khan has tried to redevelop that area between downtown and the stadium since he bought the team. So about 12 years, always getting shot down. This seems like this is actually going to happen because this is like a serious upgrade. And yeah, I mean, they're not even talking about just like the Jaguars, but it's just hosting more events in general, like Final Four, international soccer matches,
college,
upgrading, making a better atmosphere for like Florida, Georgia, concerts. Concerts is a big one. Yeah. Like being able to actually host like big name concerts. Like, I think it's super crucial to have like that district. And now I think it goes through. But yeah, I think it's definitely going to be one of the coolest stadiums for sure. I love the fact that it's kind of like a sunglass. The way they describe it's kind of like sunglasses where you can kind of see through, but people can't really see in. So you get like a ton of shade, and it's supposed to be like 70% cooler or something like that. So yeah, I mean, that's what fans wanted the most, is some sort of awning. I would have been fine if they did what they did with the Hard Rock Stadium. Just put like something fucking
over. And that was retrofitted. That was definitely retrofitted. That wasn't, part of the original stadium. But they also did some upgrades on the bottom. Like they changed some of the floor seating. They made some suites on the inside. So
they redid all the seats now, because the seats used to be all orange, right?
So
Sun Life, old Sun Life.
They made it, more for, so it's good for Jacksonville. I feel good for y'all.
Did you hear the potential? Because so now a lot of people think this is going to go through. Now it's like it's going to take 2 years to build. Where do the Jaguars play now? So like this has been like a whole other discussion. Is like, do they go down to Gainesville and play in the swamp? Do they go to Orlando?
They'll probably go to Orlando.
Camping World. But it seems like the front runner right now is the Daytona 500 International Speedway.
No way. They're not going to put a football stadium.
Yeah. They're seriously considering it, dude. I'm like not even joking. They're seriously considering it. I'm in the ballpark. To me, because the problem is we don't, like, you have UNF and the stadium there only seats like 10,000. It's not even close to being big enough to do anything. So I get to me, Gainesville makes the most sense. And I know people don't want to go to Gainesville because it's going to be shitty. It's a small town. There's no big highway. I think Daytona will be able to handle it more because it's right off 95. And they kind of have a lot. They already have the infrastructure put in place to seat a lot of things. Because the Daytona 5, it's going to look weird as fuck. Because the Daytona 500 seats 105,000 people. So you're going to have a ton of empty space. But they're talking about putting in the middle, building like some grandstand along the field, and then the rest of everybody else is going to be on the other side of the track, where the normal stands are. But it's going to look weird as fuck. But a part of me is almost kind of down for it because I want to see a football game in a fucking racetrack. Like, that's wild. Like, I want to see that's got to be history. But it's going to look stupid. I think the Orlando thing's just too far. I don't think they're going to do Orlando unless Orlando really pushes it. It's going to be far as shit. Daytona is about an hour and 15 minutes away, so it's not too bad. Gainesville, I would say, is probably about the same distance. Like, my only concern with Gainesville is the infrastructure. Like I said, it's a small town. Can they handle the influx of people? And I don't know. I don't know how much Gainesville seats. I probably seats like 50. which would be just shy of like a normal NFL stadium, like 10,000, 15,000 shy of an NFL stadium.
Yeah, I think Gainesville sounds kind of crazy. I think Orlando will make more sense because I know they host.
I don't think Gainesville sounds that crazy.
Camping World's already like Camping World is a dedicated football stadium. It's not like if you go to Daytona, you have to like build a stadium, and it's going to be weird with the track, the fan experience, the track separating the inside football. Like, is it? I don't know if it really does go. Also, there's really no covers in Daytona. From last I've seen, I used to live in Daytona for a little bit, so also still going to be hot as hell. Yeah, I think Orlando would make more sense going to Orlando, unless there's some other across the way in Georgia. I don't know what's close. Not Savannah. What's close to Jacksonville? That's not.
And I mean, nothing that would have a stadium. I mean, the next closest thing would be the NFL. I mean, Atlanta. I mean, I can't think of a college that would really fit. I'm trying to find a photo. I saw somebody like kind of retrofit a football stadium in there. Actually, I think they did like a rendering match there.
Like a rendering of a.
But you're. Oh, here we go. Perfect.
Share screen whenever you get the chance. But that'll be absolutely insane. If they go to Daytona, that'll be absolutely insane. That'll be really weird.
I think but I agree with you though. The Daytona thing is going to be like that's a lot of money to like put in to build that up. You know what I mean? You're not talking about something that could easily be put in. But here's the Daytona thing.
Oh, so they're cut it in half.
Yeah, I mean I think I saw there's another graphic where it's like you can fit every stadium in Florida into the Daytona 500. So you're talking about like
that's what I was saying.
Corner.
I was like
so you
stands.
see where that sits like that's the grass in between the pit stop and the turn.
Okay.
So
now
there's
I understand.
Because you see like I don't know if you can see my mouse, but you see like that little road kind of behind the stands. That's the pit stop where it normally is. So they're kind of fitting the field in between the pit stop and the thing. And yeah, it looks like they're gonna put some seats in like the on the track itself.
Okay, that would make more sense. Cause I was saying I've seen like I said, I used to live in Daytona, and I've seen. I'm like, how do you? I thought they were gonna physically put it like right in the middle. I'm like,
but this isn't
so
like
far
that
away.
Insane.
It looks okay. It looks okay.
The only thing is that it's still far as fuck. It's still gonna be far as shit, and it's just gonna look weird. Like, could you imagine if we like make like massive playoffs run in a fucking racetrack? But I'm almost like for it just for the scenes, like just to be like the fucking Daytona 500.
That one weird year they went to Daytona.
It would be 2 years, so they'd like commit to 2 years here. But I mean, like you said, how much infrastructure does Shad Khan want to put into like building stands, building all these? You got to put locker rooms. Where the fuck you gonna put locker rooms? All this other shit. I'm surprised you're so against the Gainesville thing. To me, that makes the most sense because you have the facility. You got to remember too, these like the away teams, and they got to figure out somewhere to like where are they going to train. Yeah, you know what I mean. So, like at least like Florida, UF, like they have those facilities already for college football. The only issue I see there is just whether the fans getting there. You know what I mean? But then again, they pack out that fucking stadium every Saturday, so they could probably make it work. But I find the Daytona thing super odd, but I wouldn't be totally against it. I would definitely have to check out a game. I don't even know how you price those tickets, man. Like,
I mean, they're going to be losing it. I mean, that'll be weird because they have to lease it from the Daytona 500. There's like a building there, like a business building across the street. That'll be weird. Like, how do you set the price? Is it? Yeah, I mean. Would you expect a normal NFL price?
Is the atmosphere too?
Yeah.
And like, what about a scoreboard?
Yeah.
Like, where do you put like a scoreboard? Like you have to put like an artificial screen. Like, yeah, it would definitely be. The atmosphere would suck because that, like I said, that racetrack seats 100 plus thousand people. Like, it's fucking huge.
Yeah.
But yeah. I thought it was an interesting topic, especially once they started talking about the Daytona 500. I thought it'd be pretty cool to bring up, but we can move on to the Florida Panthers getting absolutely mollywopped by the Vegas Knights, something I did not see coming. I thought it was going to be a tough matchup, but ended up being not even close. The only close games were at home against the Knights, where they won 3-2, but then they lost the following game 3-2, and a couple goals where they just couldn't finish. But then they go back to Vegas and just get demolished again, 9-3 or is it 9-3 or 9-2?
I think
it was 9-3.
9-3.
9-3 to then just get absolutely destroyed by the Vegas Knights. Gabe, what are your thoughts on the series? Are you disappointed? How disappointed are you?
I'm absolutely disappointed in the series. I just feel like the Panthers, obviously, they achieved the unachievable, right? They went super far. It's coming out now. I'm trying to pull up the injuries that the whole team had. They apparently suffered a whole bunch of injuries during that Boston series, that first one that they played. They went 7 games. So, yeah, disappointing. I wish there would have been more of a fight. I just think Vegas had a better team.
Yeah, Matthew Tkachuk was ruled out right before Game 5.
Yeah,
started.
I think he had a cracked sternum. They said Ekblad had he tore his oblique, had a broken hand, a broken foot.
He still played though.
Yeah, he still played. And a lot of guys played their injuries. And man, hockey is tough. So I have a lot of admiration, man. Hockey is a tough ass sport. It's fucking brutal. They play a lot harder, a lot faster than football, in my opinion. So overall, in general, the series a little bit disappointed. I felt like we could have stretched it out, winning the games, but when you get to that last game, I mean, you lose 9-3. It's kind of like it's over after the first when they score.
Oh, I shut it off when it went 5-3. I'm like, I'm done.
All right.
I'm not watching another team lift up a trophy against my team.
In the first period, I was at home. I was like, man, turn this shit off. I'm gonna go watch Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse or whatever the fuck. I gotta do something else. So it's disappointing to lose it in that way. But I can't. Again, overall, like we talked about before, I wanted to give appreciation for the season overall. Like they used this unexpected. Nobody expected them to do anything. It was looking really piss poor, barely make it into the playoffs, and somehow they make a run. Get through the Bruins, get to the Leafs, get through Carolina, which is actually a close series for them. And I think they maxed out. Right? I think they maxed out on what they had. Going forward, I don't know. I have to appreciate this time now because I don't know if they'll ever make it to a finals ever again. You know what I mean? This was, kind of a repeat of that 96 season, a wild card run to the finals. So I appreciate the playoffs. They made the Panthers relevant. So I'm very appreciative of it. Disappointing, yes, to lose, especially losing that way and losing on way against a better team. By the way, Vegas is a real solid team.
They were the second best team.
Yeah,
second best team.
So it's not like they're undeserving. Like, oh, we lost to a bunch of bums. Like this was a good team to lose to. It's just kind of disappointing that the hype that I built up in my head that maybe they give get a chance to make a deep run. But yeah, it's over. Man.
Yeah, I mean. I was in the ballpark where I'm like, you got to win this. Like, I was like, after what you just went through, like, you could take on the Vegas Knights, at least go on a run, and I felt good about winning it. I was, the crazy thing, too, is, like, I think that Game 4 was so pivotal because, I mean, they almost tied up that game. They had a couple bad mistakes, and they couldn't finish. I mean, shout out to the goaltender for Vegas. I'm drawing a blank. Aiden Hill. He had one hell of a series. He has a top five plays in this whole series.
Oh yeah, that Game 2, that first period, he stressed out.
He played out of his mind, and in Game 4, when he stuck out the stick against Barkov, and Barkov couldn't get it. I mean, his foot and Barkov hit the blade of his skates, and man, it showed how important that Game 4 is because, like, if you can't tie up the series there, it's like it's so hard to come back from. And they had an overtime win in Game 3, and then they were looking good towards the end of Game 4. And I was like, if they need to tie up the series, they need to tie up the series. And then they couldn't. And then you go back to Vegas and you get absolutely destroyed. What surprises me the most, one, I'm not going to put it all on Bob because a lot of times those Vegas Knight players were left wide open. He was in a one-on-one.
Oh man, when they scored that first goal in that last game, they were doing it on a change. They're switching. Eric Black was switching off while they were still in transition.
Yeah, he broke him. Mark Stone had one hell of a series for Vegas. Like I can't really blame Bob too much because they were just left open in transition too many times. I think what happened with the Panthers, just from my view, obviously I'm not a hockey expert, but from what I could tell, it seems like they just got killed in transition. It seems like the Panthers would be so far up, they'd be so far up, and then the Knights get a steal and then they break away, and then you're leaving a 2-on-1 with Bob to handle, or a 1-on-1 with Bob. And there's nothing he can do.
He's on an island, man. He's on an island.
Which is so crazy coming through this whole playoff series. The Panthers are very stout defensively. And like you said, maybe injuries played in a role, especially with what happened at Akla. But, yeah, man, it's just like to lose like that is just – it's rough. And this is a team that played really well away. I mean, you won in Boston. You won 2 games in Boston. You won in Toronto. And then you won in Carolina, and to think that you put up those performances against the Knights, which isn't even like the toughest place to play in the world. Like playing in Boston, playing in Toronto is way tougher than playing in Vegas. Like, come on, like Vegas just got a team. I firmly believe there's some sort of mafia ties to why Vegas keeps on getting these teams, because who the fuck lives there? Like, I'm sorry. Like, how the fuck are they getting so many teams? Like, I feel like Austin should get teams over fucking Vegas. I mean,
Vegas deserved a team a long time ago. I mean, it's where sports betting happens. Why don't they have sports there? Like,
I don't know. I mean, I know the reason why. I mean, obviously, it's a lot of the casino lobbyists and stuff that are all want like more events and more entertainment there, clearly. But yeah, I mean, back to the Panthers. It's just very disappointing to see how bad they got skilled. Shout out to Mark Stone. He had one hell of a series. Aiden Hill had one hell of a series. It's just very disappointing that the Panthers couldn't get it done. And it shows how important that game 4 was. And some of those saves Aiden Hill had was just crazy. And some of the way the Panthers really struggled finishing opportunities that would have taken them the lead. And also they couldn't really finish in power plays either. So, and take advantage of those.
That's another thing. That's been a problem for a while. Like, their power plays have been terrible. Their penalty kills got a little bit better than playing on defense, but offensively, their power plays, they haven't really capitalized. They haven't been, for a couple years now, they haven't been really good on the power play. Just devastating. I mean, but I am proud of them, man. I'm still proud of the season they had. They gave me great memories.
They made one hell of a run.
Yeah. They made hockey important, and all the fucking haters that come out, oh, the 3 fans that are Panther fans, fuck y'all. Listen, fuck Toronto, okay? Fuck, y'all are the Knicks of hockey. Fuck y'all. Y'all ain't shit, haven't won nothing. We've been to finals. In my lifetime, I've seen 2 fucking Stanley Cup appearances. Well, Toronto hasn't seen shit in their lifetime, okay? You're the people's dad. The people who are adults now, their dads haven't seen the fucking Maple Leafs win shit, so don't tell me nothing. Fucking Toronto Maple Leaf.
Also, too, one accomplishment is the Panthers got their first finals win in history, because the last time they went to the Stanley Cup Finals, they got absolutely swept.
Yeah.
So they actually got their first win. So now they are 1-8 in the Stanley Cup.
Hey, listen. Got one. We got one, guys.
We got one, boys. But you know what? I do feel like I don't feel like all hope's lost. At the end of the day, this is a team that's most likely going to be able to remain together. They have remained together, and every year they progress and make it further and further. Even though obviously last year they won President's Trophy, they still got bounced in the second round. This year, not so much of a strong regular season, but they still made it deeper in the playoffs this year. So, I mean, depending how you look at it, the Panthers have actually progressed year in and year out, specifically in the playoffs. So I think next year, we should go into this next year still feeling strong. I think this team is kind of built to win for at least the next couple years. You have a lot of guys still locked up on contracts. You're not really going to lose. Obviously, having the young stud and Matthew Tkachuk, he's going to be a guy that's probably going to be here for a while. So I feel very confident about next year. But like I said, it's going to be tough. Stanley Cup's one of the hardest trophies to win in all of sports. It's extremely tough. But I'm just glad to know that, you know, we can hang in there. And I think we're going to be back there next year. I don't know if we make it the Stanley Cup, but we're definitely going to be a contender for sure.
Yeah.
And I think if you can reload this offense and just this team in general, I think they could still be a contender in this league.
like I said, I'm very proud. In general, the last 4 or 5 years, they've been on the trajectory. Everything has been positive as of recent, because there's been a lot of times that for a long time I never followed the Panthers, and they made they made South Florida relevant. So I'm pretty proud of that. Just real news from the NHL. I like to look at important dates that are coming up just to see, because we talk about maybe let's see what happens. Important dates. So the end of the month, June 28th is the NHL draft. June 30th is the last time for buyouts, and then Saturday, July 1 is when free agency opens, which we'll see what kind of moves they want to make. Obviously, they had a big trade getting Kachuk, which I think again, I was kind of iffy, wishy-washy on the trade. I feel like he's a solid player, even though he didn't get a chance to finish out the finals. So everything looking up from Florida, man. Appreciate it.
And if you're a Panthers fan listening, let me know if I'm stupid or not. But I feel like I like our attack. I think there's an attack that could really put up points, but I want